Good morning. The panel is reconvened. Would you give us your name? My name is Pearl Wise. To my left is Mr. Roche. And to my right is Mr. Freeman. We comprise your panel this morning. Give us your name and DOC number, please.
Anita White, 296L7.
All right, Ms. White, I've already introduced her, but let me explain the process to you. I'm going to read some information into the record. Afterwards, we're going to conduct an interview with you, starting with Mr. Roche, because your case was assigned to him. After we finish with our interview, I'm going to go ahead and identify your guest today. You have Pamela White, your sister.
Yes, ma'am.
And DeMarcus White, your nephew, who will be speaking. Good, good. Thank y'all for coming. It's very important that we see family. It's very encouraging for us. After we finish with our interview, we're gonna hear from the warden. The warden is gonna share with us how she's been doing. Then we're gonna give you an opportunity to speak, Mr. White. And after you, Ms. White, have the last say. You tell us whatever you want us to know before we vote. So that's how the process goes. So let me go ahead and read the information to the record. Again, it's Anita Lynn White, DOC number 296807. Your offense is simple burglary of inhabited dwellings, simple escape, and armed robbery. According to your master record, your total DOC sentence is 31 years, 4 months, and 29 days. You have a parole eligibility date listed as January the 20th of 2023. Your adjusted good time date is December the 22nd of 2028. And you have a full term date of December the 18th of 2033. And that sounds about right, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Roche.
Thank you, Ms. Wise. Good morning, Ms. White. How are you?
All right.
Good, Ms. White. You're about to approach that magical age of 50. You'll be 50 in June, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you're a 5th felony offender.
Yes, sir.
So tell me what was going on that you got involved in so much criminal activity at an early age.
I was drugging.
When did you start using drugs?
I was 18.
18. So you didn't use it when you were in high school?
No, sir.
So who or what introduced you to drugs at a late age of 18?
Well, I came home from institution and my auntie and my sister.
You came home from what institution?
LTI.
Okay, so you had trouble as a juvenile also.
Yes, sir.
How long did you spend at LTI?
I was there like three or 4 years.
And when you reached the age of 18, you got released.
Yes, sir.
So you were at LTI at the age of 14 or 15 years old?
Yes, sir.
And what was that for?
I wouldn't stay at home and go to school.
So you're a runaway.
Yes, sir.
Commit anything other than running away from home?
Well, I done learned to stay at home now.
No, but I'm just saying, in any other criminal activity at the age of 14?
No, sir.
You just was rebellious and didn't want to follow the rules and regulations, so you left home.
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's right. In 1995, you got convicted of burglarizing an inhabited dwelling. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
And how long did you spend incarcerated after your conviction?
I think 5 or 6 years.
So you got a break, you got convicted, you got released on good time or you were paroled,
Yes, sir.
and you didn't follow the rules and regulations in 203, you got revoked.
Yes, sir.
What did you get revoked from?
Robbery.
All robbery.
Yes, sir.
And you got sentenced another 25 years. And you escaped, got convicted, you got another year tacked on.
Yes, sir.
You got the remainder of your sentence, which was 5 years, 4 months, and 29 days. So you ended up with 31 years, 4 months, and 29 days because you didn't want to follow the rules.
Yes, sir.
You tired?
Yes, sir.
So tell me what you've been doing the last 20 plus years. Tell me about your program.
Well, I was in, where I'm going. I was in living area and I wasn't doing anything because I had a stroke. I had 2 strokes
Okay. And when did you have your stroke?
in 19 and what was the other year? I know 19.
Okay. It's 2019, okay?
Yes, sir.
Looks like you're doing pretty good.
Yes, sir.
So basically, you hadn't been in too many programs since you had your 2 strokes.
Yes, sir.
I just want to mention for the record, you have a terrible supervision issue. You were revoked in 1991. You were revoked in 1995. With that conviction that we just talked about. And then you were revoked again in 203. And you've been incarcerated ever since.
Yes, sir.
So tell me why this panel should vote to release you, because every time you've been on supervision, you've been revoked.
Well, I have learned now my lesson. And I know I have all the rules that they want me to do. And I'm not planning on getting no more trouble.
Well, let me read to you what the judge said. We contact the judge, the DA's office, law enforcement. Let me tell you exactly what the judge said. He's opposed to your early release. And he says each time this offender has been released, she reoffends. And each time the offense is a little bit more serious than the last time. She has the same MO, just more severe the next time. Pretty much accurate, right?
Yes, sir.
Because your last offense was armed robbery.
Yes, sir.
The DA had no comment. The DA that was the DA from the 4th JDC in Washington. The DA of the 12th JDC of Balls Parish is unopposed. He says, you can release her. He's unopposed to your early release. the sheriff's office in Washington is opposed. The sheriff's office in the borough is unopposed. So you have a 50-50 split. Some of the law enforcement community says you're ready to be released. Others are opposed, which is good for you.
Yes, sir.
Your sister who's sitting right there, statement says she's fully, she's unopposed. She feels that you've done enough time. It's time for her to come home. And I'll take care of her. So you have good family support. Let me get to, now, I don't see this very often, Ms. White. You have 5 adult arrests.
Yes, sir.
All resulted in convictions. Very seldom do I see a 5th offender with only 5 arrests. Tell me, what, do you have a job assignment at LCIW?
No, sir.
You're on duty status.
Yes, sir.
Now, how do you plan to support yourself if you're released?
Well, I'm going to apply for my check to start off.
SSI?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You eligible?
Sir.
Are you eligible for SSI?
Yes, sir.
Good, good. The next question I had was you're trusting, but you've been in a hospital a lot. So I imagine you don't have trustee status because of your duty status in job assignments.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is there any community service involvement in 20 years of your incarceration? Have you done any community service?
No, sir.
What concerns me, and I'm going to tell you quite frankly, you have a very high needs assessment on the target. You have very high needs in education. And I read the letter from the director of education, so I know what the score is on that. So I won't even touch that.
Yes, sir.
What I'm saying is, but you have a high needs in employment, and I understand why now. And you have a moderate need for substance abuse. So tell me about the substance abuse programs that you completed in the last 20 years.
Well, I just completed substance abuse due to the fact that I was on drugs. And that's when we went through drugs and alcohol from substance abuse.
And which program? Celebrate Recovery?
Living in balance. I did celebrate recovery.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Let's touch upon your institution. Is it, Warden Thomas, is there a reason why she's in minimum custody? I'm
She
sorry.
She,
Immediate
cur-
custody.
well, she currently lives in our infirmary assisted living dorm because she still does have some residual weakness from the stroke.
Another concern is that you hadn't completed 100 hours pre-release.
Yes, sir.
Is there a reason why you hadn't enrolled? And is it because of the illness?
I finished release.
$100 pre-release?
She completed last month.
Ah, last month, so I wouldn't have it. Okay, great, outstanding. Now, I'm gonna cover a touchy area. My major concern is that you have over 180 disciplinary write-ups. That's 9 disciplinary write-ups on the average for every year of incarceration. So tell me why the first 14 years of incarceration that you were a hellraiser.
Well, I was getting to a lot of inmates and security. And I didn't want this to them. So I took it on myself and did what I wanted to do.
And what happened in 2016?
2016. What was I doing?
No, what I'm saying is you have no write-ups since 2016. So what happened in 2016 that stopped the write-up?
I just got tired.
That time.
Yes, sir, I got tired of them.
I don't often see a female offender with 180 write-ups. And you got some pretty serious ones in there too.
Yes, sir.
What you have done in the last 6.5 years. So something happened. You got tired.
Yes, sir.
Let me see what your last write-up was. You remember what your last write-up was?
It was this year.
You didn't get one this year, 2016 was like that.
2016.
Do you remember
Okay.
what that for?
It was for theft. Do you remember it?
No.
That's fine, no problem. But your last, and the two before that was Class A write-up. So you've only had 2 Class B write-ups in the last 8 years, which is not bad, considering 180 before that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So tell me about your transition plan.
Well, I'm going to live with my sister if I can get out. And she's going to take me to my appointments and help me get my check.
I think I've covered everything. Your risk assessment is low, but you have to pay attention to your needs assessment and do the things that you need to do. Take care of your antisocial thinking and your mental health issues. And
Yes, sir.
that is an ongoing situation that when you release, you must keep up with your mental health appointments and stay compliant with your medication. Okay? Warren Thomas, would you like to chime in and give me any remarks, comments, or concerns?
Yes, sir. She has been living up in our infirmary in our assisted living area, so we've not had any trouble with Miss White since she's been living up here in the infirmary. But that is obviously the reason that she does not have a current job assignment, just due to more medical. With her, if she is granted with her wanting to live with her sister, we'll make sure all of her medical and mental health appointments are scheduled, and we'll apply for any benefits and get that squared away if she is approved for release.
Thank you, Warden Thomas.
Thank you.
Yeah, I will wait on the comments from your sister Pamela, our wife, and then I'll make a decision. You have a good day, Ms. White.
Yes,
You there? Ms. White, do you remember what court you were in? When I have questions, you have a seat, sir. I just want to ask you a question that's not clear. A few things weren't clear for me. What court were you in as a juvenile? What parish were you in when you got convicted as a juvenile? Do you remember? Maybe your family can help you remember.
Washington.
In Washington Parish. And so you're saying that you didn't commit any crimes. You got sent to LTI simply for running away? Is that your statement?
Yes,
You didn't
ma'am.
commit crimes, you didn't, all you did was run away? That's the way you remember it?
Yes, ma'am.
It's highly unlikely you get that time in LTI and you didn't commit any kind of a crime.
I wouldn't,
Go ahead, I'm listening.
I wouldn't go to school or anything.
Okay. So when you weren't in school, what were you doing? You remember?
No, ma'am.
Just running the streets, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Running the street. Do you have any children?
No, ma'am.
As that's what the record says, you don't have any children. But the records indicated that you had started victim awareness in March. You could be able to complete that.
Yes, ma'am.
Warren, you think she'll be able to complete victim awareness?
Yes, ma'am.
All right,
She
that's
can-
all right. Go ahead.
If it's some specific programming, we can transport her to the class and bring her back up to the infirmary. So it hasn't been an issue.
Oh, okay, so she's still ongoing in that class now?
Yes.
Okay, good. That's what I wasn't clear on. Thank you for that. All right, sir, I'm sorry that, Mr. DeMarcus, why you can tell us what you want us to know at this point.
Yes, ma'am. I would just like to state on record that I am DeMarcus White, U.S. Army retired specialist DeMarcus White. And July 21st, 2003, I was 16 years old when my auntie was arrested. Today, I am a 36-year-old man who has a family of his own, retired from the military, 3 degrees, and I would do everything in my power and my will to make sure that she would not be back here in front of y'all or anyone else in this system. That is my word. I feel like she has, the last 20 years, she has more than enough time to be rehabilitated, to understand her wrongdoings, and to correct that. And I also feel like since 2018, 2019, when she had this stroke in March, I feel like she really needs to be home with her family so she can get the proper care and loving that she needs and live out the rest of her life with her family.
All right, thank you, sir. And I want to personally thank you for your service to our country. I
Yes,
appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. White, you have the final say before we vote. Is there anything you want us to know?
Well, I want to thank y'all for y'all time today. And everything that y'all said I gotta do, I will do it.
All right, thank you. Well said, well said. The panel ready to vote?
Yes,
All right, Mr. Roche.
Ms. White, it was a pleasure talking to you this morning. I really enjoyed it. My vote is to grant conditionally upon completion of program victim impact.
Yes, sir.
I based that on the positive remarks that I received from Warren Thomas and a good transition plan with your sister. After release, I want you to attend NAA meetings at least 2 times a week.
Yes, sir.
Okay? So you keep up with your sobriety, get your sponsor, and maintain that connection with AANA, okay?
Yes, sir.
I want you to have a curfew from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. and good luck.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Roche. Mr. Freeman?
Okay, Ms. White, I have some reservations. You have 3 revocations, 5th offender. You have high needs. You know, you have a fair institutional record, medium custody. My vote today is to deny.
All right, thank you, Mr. Freeman. Ms. White, I feel inclined to take a chance on you. My vote is to grant, mainly because of the warden's comments and your health conditions and the positive family support here. I don't see you as a risk that you were in your history since you were 13 or 14. I do not see that. We have 2 votes to grant and 1 vote to deny. So because because you don't have a GED, you are denied. So best wishes to you, young lady, and thank you all for coming today.